Yo, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Marcus, the Television Snap Player, and welcome back to another video. Well, guys, the end of the season is pretty much near, and at this point, you already know the drill. But if you're new to the channel and you're wondering what it is I'm doing, basically, I like to take all the cards that I've collected throughout the course of the season, whether it's by, snap packs or, if you want to count spotlight keys, you can count that. Just anyway, anyway, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I will tell you this season I did a pretty good job in terms of card collections. So, let's go ahead and we'll just jump straight to it. We're going to go ahead and start things off with Mr. Goliath. This was the first spotlight card. Oh, shoot. Almost lost my phone. This is the first spotlight card of the season. It is a 2-cost, 1 power card. And it says ongoing. Plus 1 power for each other ongoing card you have in play. So basically what that means is, let's say you have, Ant-Man, Blue Marvel, Moonstone, just a whole bunch of other ongoing cards. He will get stronger. I think the highest that I've gotten Goliath was an 8 or something. Or, I don't know. I haven't busted out, super big numbers from him. But, at first, it was really fun because there was a lot of good decks that I could put him in. But, honestly, after I've got Captain Carter, he kind of just feels like he's just there, It's again, he's good, but he's not. He just kind of feels average now. You know what I mean? I just throw him in a deck, in an ongoing deck, and I just call it. And he'll just kind of get buffed up as he goes. So, I think Goliath, I don't think he's a terrible card. But, ability-wise, again, it's great. Right? But, again, after Captain Carter, he just kind of fell off. So, I think I'm going to put Goliath in average. Yeah, I think Goliath, he's just going to be in the, he's going to be average. So, Mr. Goliath. Boom. That's our first card. After Goliath, we are then going to look at Captain Carter, which is a card that you could get from the season pass. And you know what? At first, I wasn't really sure how to incorporate her ability. But then after messing around with it, this is actually pretty cool. Now, the thing is, Captain Carter wasn't a 3-2. She was originally a 4-3, if I remember. So she did get a bit of a change. Her ability didn't get changed, but it's her cost and power. And you know what? She's pretty good. So basically, the way her ability works is that if you have cards behind Captain Carter, she will kind of buff them up. So, for instance, let's say, you play her next to Brood, right? When Brood spawns the little Broodling guys, she will buff up those two. Or maybe you have Ant-Man, where she's at. She will give Ant-Man a little buff for kind of being in the back row. So, it's a unique ability. However, is it better than Goliath? I would say so. I think Captain Carter, she's not amazing, right? Because I think there is one card that I actually enjoy a bit more. And I don't think she's quite there yet. So, Captain Carter, at least for me, she is going to be in the great tier. So, after Captain Carter, we have Pixie. This was one of the spotlights that you could get alongside Infinity Ultron. And I mean, she's not terrible, but like basically what Pixie does is she'll just swap, instead of like swapping the power and cost, she'll just swap the cost of all your cards. So like sometimes you're like, if you have a bunch of lower level cards, right, and you play Pixie, she'll shuffle them up, and they'll either get cheaper or more expensive. It just depends. But I've put her in like at least a couple decks, maybe just her debut one. Yeah, she's okay. She's just fine. So therefore, Pixie is going here. The next one, after Pixie, we have Infinity Ultron, and oh man, guys. Like, honestly, guys, I really wanted to like Infinity Ultron. Like, when they showed him in the developer update, I'm like, oh, this looks fun. Like, I wanted to like this card so bad, but he was just so freaking complicated to like build a deck for. I ended up having to build 4 different decks for this guy. Like, with most cards, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just build one deck, or I'll just do an auto. Not even the auto build helped out at all, because the thing with Infinity Ultron, guys, is he'll shuffle 2 of the Infinity Stones in hand. I'll show you what they look like. So let me load up. Snap real quick, if it's willing to load. Okay, there we go. So basically with the stones, they all have unique abilities. So look, so you have the Infinity Power Stone, Infinity Reality Stone, Time Stone, Space Stone, and then the Soul Stone. And then there's a Mind Stone. So you get all these different stones. And like, a lot of them are pretty good. Like, the Mind Stone is kind of like a cheaper version of Wong. And then you have the one that doubles Infinity Ultron's power. But here is the thing with Infinity Ultron, guys. Like, if you don't have anything else to like a Psylocke, or if you don't have Agamotto and the, what is it called, Bolts of Bolthok, you're pretty much, the last 2 turns of the game you had to use Infinity Ultron. So on turn 5 you kind of have to play Infinity Ultron, and then on turn 6 it's either your big 6 cost card or you play the 2 stones that he gave you in hand. So it is kind of stupid. However, I did kind of find a good deck to put him in, that being Strange Supreme. But even then, he's just like, oh man, like he's just not as good as I thought it was. So man, Infinity Ultron. And this hurts, y'all. This sucks. This really, really sucks, but so Infinity Ultron, unfortunately, I have to put in the terrible. Like, his power, it ain't bad. his power-wise is not bad. It's just like, he's just so complicated, guys. Like, trying to figure out where to place him, it was just hard. I ended up taking up 4 deck slots just to figure this guy out. And, yeah, like, that's the reason why I put him in terrible. It's not for the ability itself or, like, the stones. It's just, like, the complicatedness of him. I don't know if that's a word, but the complications of figuring out what decks to put him in. That's why I put him in terrible. And it's a shame, because I really wanted to like that card. After Infinity Ultron, we have Sam Wilson, Captain America. He was actually part of the season pass for Brave New World. So basically the way it works is you have... So it says game start. Add Cap's shield to a random location. So his shield looks like... Turn that off. So Cap's shield looks like this. It says ongoing. This can't be destroyed. And then it says give your Cap +2 power when this moves to Cap's location. And Sam Wilson's ability says ongoing, you can move Cap's shield. So I'd say he's pretty freaking fun. Although the thing is, you won't be able to move around Cap's shield without Sam Wilson. You can't use Captain America, or you can't use like the classic Captain America. That won't work. You need to have Sam Wilson on the board. But I think it's pretty good. So it's like every time you move that shield to where Sam Wilson is, he'll constantly get stronger, which I like. It's a fun and unique ability. But is it an amazing card? Once again, not really. It's not a bad card, but it's definitely not the best card I've ever played. So Mr. Sam Wilson goes here. After Sam Wilson, we have Phastos, a 3-cost 4-power card. On reveal, give each card in your deck -1 cost or +2 power. So either they get cheaper, your cards get cheaper, or they get stronger. It just kind of depends. And you know what? It's pretty unique. Although, I don't know. I guess he's fine. It's a unique ability, but he just kind of feels like your average buffing power-up card. Like, he doesn't really blow me away too much. So I think Phastos, he's going to go into average. He's not bad, per se. Like, his ability is not bad, but it's just like, he's just there to, like, buff up your cards and whatnot. He's like another version of Okoye, where Okoye will pretty much buff up your cards in the deck. That's what Phastos is, but with just a little extra gimmick. After Phastos, we have Toxie, which... Here's the funny part. Toxie wasn't even supposed to be the featured card for High Voltage. It was supposed to be this card called Dum Dum Dugan, which, if I remember, kind of buffed up your cards in the front row. So when I saw that, I'm like, that might go good with Captain Carter. But when I logged in and I loaded up High Voltage, I saw Toxie, and I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of disappointed. But I still wanted to at least try to go for her and at least build a little something around. And yeah, she's the worst, y'all. Like, compared to the first Ghost Rider, this card just sucks. Like, there really is no good application for Toxie. So yeah, Toxie has to go in terrible. Just not very fun. But wait a second, it gets better, because after Toxie, we have probably one of my favorite cards of this season. Although I will have to admit, this dude does not show, like, the times that I've played with Strange Supreme, he has not shown up in hand at all. But my god, is this dude fun. So basically what Strange Supreme does is what Strange Supreme does is he will merge with cards that were created. So meaning like cards that didn't come from your deck. So let's say you played like a Squirrel Girl or Ultron. Like with the drones, after each turn, Strange Supreme will get one of the squirrels or the drones, or going back to Infinity Ultron, the stones, like especially the ones that have the unreveal. Once you've played the Infinity Stones, you can pretty much, Strange Supreme can just absorb one of those and he'll get stronger from that. And so I think that's a really, really fun mechanic. Although, like I said, he hasn't been on my hand. Like, the times that I have played him, he has not shown up at all. And it's been rough. It's been really rough. But if we're just talking about the card itself, it's freaking amazing. Absolutely awesome. So, Strange Supreme joins, or not even joins, he's just the very first card to hit the amazing tier. Super duper awesome. He might even just be the only amazing card. I don't know yet. After Strange Supreme, we have my first card that I got from Snap Packs, and that is Sasquatch. A 6-cost 10 power card. Costs 1 less for each card that you played last turn. This one, I'm not gonna lie, is difficult. Like, when I played Sasquatch for the first time, like, I think the closest that I got Sasquatch to was a 5, but even then, it's just like, I don't know, the ability is really tricky. Power-wise, it's good, but the ability, yeah, I don't know. It's not a terrible card, but I just think the ability for me was a bit difficult, so I'm going to have to put Sasquatch in average. And it's only because of that. After Sasquatch, we have Lasher, a 2-cost 2-power card. It says, activate. Afflict an enemy card here with negative power equal to this. So basically, what that means is, if you, like, let's say, like, if you were to just play Lasher and you activated his ability, he'll do, like, 2 damage to your opponent's cards, right? But if you buffed him up a little bit more and you made him stronger, you could do a lot more, which is pretty good. But is it the best, like, affliction card? Not really. I mean, you can pull off some pretty good combos, but as far, like, I think Diamondback is, like, the better affliction card, right? Because not only will she, like, the thing with Diamondback is that she'll do even more damage after a card has been damaged, like, by a Scorpion or even a Hazmat. Like, that to me, super duper unique. Lasher, yeah, I mean, great card. Is a great card, but as far as, like, ability, it's like, you kind of have to play him at the right time. That's the thing. But otherwise, Lasher, I think, is a great card. So that's pretty good. Now, Bullseye. That's the next card after Lasher. Now, when I got him, I wasn't sure how to really incorporate Lasher's ability, or Bullseye's ability. And you know what? I've been messing around with him for a little bit. He's actually kind of fun. So the deck that I built with him, like, it's not your typical. It was like a toxic discard deck, but it didn't have all, like, the main components of, like, a traditional discard deck. So, like, Apocalypse, Dracula, who else? Blade. It had Lady Sif, and I did put Khonshu in, but that was it. I didn't put any of those other big guys in there. But this is actually kind of fun. So he's another activate, and the way this card works is he will discard the cards that cost 1 or less. So your X-23, Scorn, Yellow Jacket, who else? Pretty much any 1-cost cards in general. And the more that you discard, the more damage he'll do. So it's kind of a unique and fun take on this card. Now, again, is it an amazing card? Not necessarily, but I think for what it is, his ability is pretty solid. So he is for sure going up with the greats. Nope. Oh, thank you, sir. Oh. Yes, sir. Sorry about that, guys. Had to get my little post-workout shake because we just got back from the gym. But anyways, we got, what's next? After Bullseye, Sebastian Shaw. Now, I actually got this dude from the Series 4 Snap Packs, along with another card, Blob, right here. So I'll show that in a second. But Sebastian Shaw, 3-cost, 4-power card. And his ability says, when this permanently gains power, gain +2 more. So what that means is if you played like an Ironheart, or even, what's another good example? I'm trying to think of some other good examples. But we'll just do that. Let's say you play Ironheart, and Sebastian gets buffed. He'll go from like a 7 or an 8, or maybe higher depending on what other ones you use. It's pretty good. It's actually a pretty solid card. I have a whole deck surrounding him and Blob, and you know, I found it best to play him alongside Agony, which Agony is a 1-cost card, and she'll merge with a card that was played in her location. So when doing that, he gets stronger. And so it's pretty fun. Although, there is one card that I think tops it all, and I've already mentioned him. So, I think Sebastian Shaw, pretty great card. Pretty great card. We're getting pretty close to finishing this tier list. Now, we have the Blob, a 6-cost, 0-power card. And you're probably wondering, wait, why 0? Isn't that pretty weak? It is pretty weak, but that's not... Power isn't always everything. It's the ability. And his ability is crazy. On reveal, merge cards from your deck into this until it gains 13 or more power. So basically what that means is if you play him on turn 6, or I guess on turn 5, whatever. If you play him on turn 6, he will take all the cards that are left over in your deck, and he will merge them into this, making him even stronger. Which, it's like, for me, it's like Strange Supreme, but a lot more crazier. And I think having a card like this is kind of fun because, you know, it's like, maybe, let's say, you had a strategy that you had you were playing a discard deck, right? And maybe one of the cards that you wanted didn't come in your deck. You play Blob next turn, and then whatever card that was, boom, he'll merge into the Blob, which, that's a pretty freaking fun ability. So I think Blob is going into the amazing tier. That's a very unique ability. Actually, fun fact. I actually got Blob alongside Sebastian Shaw, so it was kind of a duo. But yeah, so this is what the tier list is looking like so far. We have 2 cards in amazing, 5 cards in great, 4 in average, which is not surprising, and then 2 cards that are terrible. Man, honestly, if Infinity Ultron wasn't that complicated to play, I probably would have put him in, like, either great or average. But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. And finally, to wrap things up, we have Miss Marvel. Now here's the thing. I was originally going to get Miss Marvel from the token shop before the Snap Pack system came out. I wanted to use up my tokens to get her. And I'm not going to lie, I'm glad I waited till Snap Packs. Because if I'm going to be honest, her ability is okay. In fact, I would say Mr. Fantastic is far better than Miss Marvel. Because it's like, her ability, it says ongoing. Your adjacent locations with 2+ cards and no repeated costs have +5 power. So let me try to explain that. So basically what that means is if you have a 1-cost card and a 2-cost card, she'll, I guess, buff up those 2 cards, or just the one. I don't know. And it's a unique ability, but then again, it's like I kind of like Mr. Fantastic better because he just buffs up the locations themselves, not the cards. So I think Miss Marvel for me is just kind of mid, just kind of average. Not terrible, but average. So there it is, ladies and gents. That is the entire season ranking. You can see kind of the order of things. It almost looks even. So the 2 top best cards for this season were Strange Supreme and Blob. For the great tier, we have Captain Carter, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Lasher, Bullseye, and Sebastian Shaw. Going into average, we have Goliath, Pixie, Fastos, Sasquatch, and Miss Marvel. And then in the terrible tier, we have Infinity Ultron and Toxidoxy, which once again is probably the worst high voltage card. So if you get her, guys, like, honestly, you can mess around with the card, but just, I don't know, I would avoid it at all costs. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Don't forget to like and stuff, and definitely stay tuned for the next season, because I may potentially be getting some more cards. I might even buy the season pass again. I don't know yet, but if the new season pass card does well, I might buy it again, and we'll make a video for it. But anyways, thanks for watching, everybody.